Why don't we eat male chickens? The strange truth about half of all chicks. Have you ever looked at a carton of eggs and wondered, where are all the male chickens? Think about it. A chicken lays an egg. That egg can hatch into either a female chick or a male chick. So if a farm produces thousands of chicks, roughly half of them will be male. But when you think about the chicken industry, you see hens laying eggs and chickens being raised for meat. So where do the male chicks fit in? Here's the strange part. They don't. At least, not in the way you might expect. And the reason has almost nothing to do with whether male chickens are edible. Because yes, we absolutely can eat them. So why aren't male chickens everywhere in the meat aisle? The answer begins with the fact that modern chickens are basically divided into two different types: egg chickens and meat chickens. Egg-laying chickens have been selectively bred for one purpose: producing as many eggs as possible. They can produce hundreds of eggs during their productive lives. But their male chicks? They obviously can't lay eggs. And there's another problem. Male chicks from egg-laying breeds aren't particularly good at becoming meat chickens either. They grow relatively slowly. They don't produce as much meat as specialized broiler chickens. And feeding them for months can cost more than the value of the meat they eventually produce. It's a little like breeding a car specifically to save fuel. And then expecting it to win a race. It wasn't built for that job. Now here's where the story gets uncomfortable. If approximately half of the chicks are male, and those males aren't useful for producing eggs, what happens to them? For decades, the commercial egg industry has commonly dealt with this problem by killing male chicks shortly after they hatch. Not because they're dangerous. Not because they're poisonous. And not because humans can't eat them. Simply because, from an industrial perspective, they weren't economically useful. And this is one of the strangest consequences of modern food production. A chicken that seems completely normal to us can have almost no economic value simply because it was born the wrong sex and the wrong breed. But here's another twist. If you went back in history, this problem wouldn't look quite the same. Before modern industrial farming created highly specialized chicken breeds, people commonly raised chickens for multiple purposes: eggs, meat, breeding, and sometimes all three. Farmers weren't necessarily asking, how many eggs can this chicken produce? They were asking, how can this chicken be useful? Modern agriculture changed that equation. The industry became increasingly specialized. Some chickens became egg-producing machines. Others became meat-producing machines. And once you optimize an animal for one job, the other characteristics can become less important. But today, scientists are trying to solve the male chick problem in a completely different way. Instead of waiting for a chick to hatch, researchers are developing technologies that can determine the sex of a developing embryo before it hatches. Why does that matter? Because if an embryo is identified as male before hatching, it may be possible to stop it from entering the egg production system in the first place. That could dramatically reduce the number of male chicks killed after hatching. And there's another possibility: dual-purpose chickens. These are breeds designed to produce both eggs and meat reasonably well. They may not break records for either one, but they don't have to. Because sometimes, the most efficient animal isn't necessarily the one that does one job perfectly. It might be the one that can do two jobs well enough. So, the next time you eat an egg or order fried chicken, remember the strange system behind that ordinary food. We don't avoid male chickens because they're male. Male chickens are perfectly edible. The real reason is much stranger. Over generations, humans bred chickens into specialists. Some became extremely good at making eggs. Others became extremely good at becoming meat. And the males born into the egg-laying world ended up caught between those two purposes. So the real question was never, why don't we eat male chickens? It was, why did we breed chickens so specifically that some of them became valuable for only one thing? And that is the bizarre story hiding behind something as ordinary as an egg.